Welcome back. We have returned. This is the IRS Radio Hour on AM 560. The Answer. I'm here with Deborah Schreiner and Jake Leahy. Now, I want to mention this. Jake Leahy is the youngest elected official in Illinois at this present time. And in my mind, and I haven't been able to prove this, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say he's the youngest elected official in Illinois history. And I can explain why that is. And it's because the law used to be that you had to be 18 years old in order to put forth a petition to run for office. They changed that law last year. Isn't that right, Jake?
Last June, I think.
Last June. And so they said, okay, as long as you're going to be 18 at the day of the election, you can have a petition. You can circulate a petition before you're 18. And so before that, you had to be 18 to circulate a petition. And they changed the law, as I said, and Jake circulated his petition while he was 17, and then he was elected. He was 18 years and 18 days old, and so I believe the youngest elected official in Illinois history. Thank you. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. Before we get into that, tell us about so far, if you've had any experience with the board. How's that going? Is it more or less than you thought, or is it what you kind of thought it would be?
So I'm on the Bannockburn School Board, District 106, which is Bannockburn, Parson Riverwoods, Highland Park, and then like a little bit of Deerfield. So I've gone to a couple meetings now. It's basically what I expected. It's just basically board stuff. You go over like the budgets and all that, and the construction and all these different things that are school related. It's a small district, so it's not a daunting thing to go over to be able to talk to people and understand it. It's basically what I expected.
But interesting stuff.
Yeah, very interesting. I think most people would probably fall asleep at the meetings, but I find it interesting.
But don't the school boards have a big impact on how money is spent for the different areas? Absolutely.
A big part of everybody's property tax goes to school districts.
The largest part of the property tax.
But you have it multiple because you have the high school districts.
Overall, but it mainly goes to the schools.
That's right. So you're right about that. I forget what you used to say. How many percentage?
75% of your property tax bill was on the ballot in April. Yet the turnout for it was about 12%.
Is that something
in
else?
most counties? So.
That's something else. So anyway, I wanted to mention that about Jake, and I'm very proud of him. And now he is a ongoing member of the Bannockburn School Board, and so again, very proud of him. So let's go into the next segment.
It's the blog segment. The blog.
Hey, that sounded like Jimmy again.
Where is he?
He's not here, but we can't get away from him. Okay, so that was Jim.
Am I not good enough for you?
Oh, what I wanted to mention is I watched a Perry Mason the other day, and it was a very good one. And then at the end of the show, they have a very distinctive music too. So I'm thinking, kind of like we do with the, kind of like what we do with
the IRS radio
with
hour.
The question with the question with that, I think maybe I should get that music and put it at the end of the segment, okay? Because I thought it was pretty interesting.
Anyway,
what's even more interesting?
I'll get right on that.
And she's not kidding.
You know what's even more interesting?
What's that?
Is getting your financial problem solved by Attorney Leahy.
That's correct. Very good segue. So I'm going to talk about today and this is, remember, the blog segment is generally things that have been happening in my office. So this week in my office, 3 people came in and they had a previous agreement with the IRS, and they got out of that agreement. One was a offer and compromise, one was a installment agreement, and one was a currently not collectible status. Actually, there was another one, and that was someone that had filed for Chapter 13 and thought that they got rid of their IRS problem.
But they didn't.
But they did not, because the lawyer that they hired did not understand this stuff.
I understood that. And I'm not even an attorney.
I know, and I would say because you got it from the show, but you don't even always listen to the show. So I'm going to tell you this, though, Jake. If you had a show, I would never miss it. But anyway, remember I always talk about there's 6 things you can do if you owe the IRS money. The first thing you can do is you can pay them. The second thing you can do is you can come up with an installment agreement. The third thing you can do is an offer and compromise. The fourth thing you can do is a currently not collectible status. The fifth thing you can do is file for protection under the bankruptcy laws.
The sixth is my favorite. Is my not authoritative legal advice. Do nothing.
Do nothing. Correct. Very good. And so, but most of those things, except for do nothing, although if you do nothing, they're coming after you, and you got to stay in compliance.
And remember, that was not authoritative legal advice.
That's right. If you do the fifth thing, which is bankruptcy, you have to be in compliance in order to file bankruptcy. You have to have all your tax returns filed. But if you pay everything, then these don't apply. But all those other things, if you get in an installment agreement, if you do an offer in compromise, or if you become currently not collectible, the agreement with the IRS is more than just, okay, pay us something every month, or we're not going to come after you for a while, or we'll take a lump sum payment. There's other conditions, terms and conditions of this agreement. And so when you get this agreement with the IRS, they will send you a form that memorializes the agreement like every other contract. And nobody ever reads it, and that's what gets me. And part of at my office, we one of the things I want to solve your problem. I don't want to just push it down the road. And so sometimes
we don't just want duct tape solutions. We want real structural solutions.
Leave Bruce Rauner alone. He's right.
He's right.
But I agree with that. But anyway,
we don't need the duct tape solutions.
Anyway, listen now. If you get an agreement, and again, in my office, we have this IRS protection plan. And what this is designed to do is designed to help you after there's an agreement to keep you in the agreement. Because, again, one of the things that people don't understand is that while you're in an agreement, you must pay your taxes on time and file your tax return on time. Oftentimes, even if you ask for a extension, you violated the agreement. Certainly, if you ask for an extension and you don't pay your tax on time and you're going to owe some taxes and you don't pay it on time, big problem. So I had a client this week, as I mentioned, with the offer of compromise, and he had a great offer a couple of years ago, and he didn't pay his taxes on time. So now they're coming after him. They want to terminate the agreement. So we're working with the IRS. We did work with the IRS, and we try to work out more time to give him more time to pay his this year's tax, 2016 taxes, so we can avoid terminating the agreement. And so you have to get involved with the IRS. Sometimes they will agree to give you more time, but there's going to be a time certain where if you don't pay it, they're going to terminate the agreement. And it's the same thing with an installment agreement. So you're making payments every month. Okay. So there's something else that just came to my mind because I'm talking about people that came to my office and what their problems are. And again, a lot of these problems come across because they don't follow the agreement for the IRS. Again, the big thing is filing and paying your taxes on time going forward. So I mentioned the offer of compromise. Had an installment agreement. So a guy's paying in his installment agreement. I'm paying every week. I don't understand why that would stop. I'm paying. How could they push me out of my agreement? Well, did you file your tax return on time? No, but I filed an extension and I'm going to file. Well, see, you've just violated the agreement and you didn't even know it. And again, when you're working with my office, I pound that home to people that it's not just paying on time. You have to also go forward. And another thing about an installment agreement and a offering currently not collectible status, they can come back later and ask you to prove it again. Okay, so it's not always a permanent solution. So, for instance, if I'm on a currently not collectible status, and if I don't pay my taxes, they're going to terminate it. But if they know what I'm making, if it looks like my income is going up tremendously, they'll contact me and say, okay, we're going to terminate the agreement unless you can prove to us that we shouldn't. And then you have to go through all of this again and show them all your finances and and go through this whole rigmarole. See, like that?
What?
Rigmarole. What did I say? Kit and caboodle?
Kit and caboodle, shindig. I don't even know what that last word was. But I have a question, Attorney.
Yeah, I'm hip.
Go ahead, ask.
For those people who are listening,
yes,
who have tax and debt-related issues,
who understand
who have these type of issues, what can they do if they haven't called you yet?
Well, that's a very good question. You should pick up the phone, give me a call. Remember, if you call me and say that you heard me on this show, I will always take your phone call, and I will always answer your questions. So you should call me at 312-664-6649. Who are they going to talk to if they call that number? They're going to talk to Bonnie.
They'll talk to Bonnie.
And Bonnie will set up a time for you to talk to me. So remember now, this is the IRS Radio Hour on AM 560. The Answer.